Hey folks, this is Rabble Rousing Rich Bergeron.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a tornado Tony Bennett.
And let's make it content with all my tools of divination sharpened.
Okay. We have to talk about the fight of the century. You know what I'm talking about. Jake Paul. Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley.
Your sports spelling is fit.
Yeah, he doesn't like those guys. Jake Paul, obviously, like I said,
he was on Facebook today ranting.
Yeah, he chose another wounded lion from the MMA world, so to speak. Perfect opponent for him. Shorter guy, less reach. Just had a knockdown, drag-out brawl as his last fight in the UFC. So this is going to be an interesting one. This is like one step above Ben Askren. We'll see what happens. Tyron Woodley is really a shot fighter.
This is just a fascinating dynamic, and it's put me in a situation where I want to see it. And wow, I mean, do I want to see anyone win? I mean, I can't believe that I'm having this much of I'm having this reaction. I mean, I'm even considering being on Team Woodley for the first time, and oh my God, I just don't know what to say. It just gets crazier. But I think Woodley does have some power.
Yeah.
This is a step up. I would have
Does it translate to boxing now? I don't know. He's gonna have a lot of work ahead of him. Not that Jake Paul is a world beater, but he's definitely started at the beginning of this little venture of his, just doing boxing. He's never done MMA to confuse him or anything like that. So
yeah,
I think that's what he preys upon.
I think we'll have to see also where Woodley's mental state is.
Yeah.
Because in a couple of those fights, he just looked like he was dead, and I don't know if it was a physical thing or a mental thing. I know in his last fight, he really did come out guns blazing. Huh? And if he can do that, this might be entertaining. And then get us warmed up for the next Paul brother.
Could be. Yeah, right.
I know we'll be talking about that one too. But
now that one,
Atlas really weighed in on that. Gave a fun interview.
I didn't see that, but they did announce that there's no judges. There will be knockouts allowed. Like they're gonna say no knockouts allowed. Like who does that? But you're doing an exhibition.
No knockouts. Well, what do they mean? What do they mean? No knockouts.
No, I'm just saying they didn't say that. Like who does that? I'm saying who does no knockouts.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
But they decided they were going to allow it, and there's going to be quite a weight difference. I think we talked about that the last time. But I don't think Floyd is worried about it. And it was funny because I saw the little thing before the Showtime boxing this weekend, where they were like interviewing both guys, for the press, and it's like a all access type thing, little half-hour show. Of course, Logan Paul has to say at the end, "Don't worry, Floyd, you'll get your hat back." What was that?
Yeah, I think Paul's a cruiserweight. I think he's a normal cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we were talking about it earlier, and we knew that Floyd was going to be giving up, weight, but it's like at the same time, like even when I was an amateur, you could be in there and you could have a couple fights under your belt, be an experienced fighter. The guy come into the gym and he might outweigh you by 25, 30 pounds, but if he doesn't have your skill and your experience, the deck is still stacked in your hand.
Yeah.
It has to be. It just has to be. I mean, I totally agree with you. And Teddy Atlas's feeling that Mayweather's taking a very big chance here. He says, when is Floyd not going to be Floyd all of a sudden? It has been 4 years since he's been in a fight. Yeah.
That's true. Now, if he turned around and said, you know what, and he's trying to pull like a Sugar Ray Leonard deal and come back to fight somebody like Errol Spence or even like a Keith Thurman or somebody of that caliber, yeah, Terrence Crawford, that's a problem. But if he's coming back and fighting a guy that is basically a novice, like when I was back in the day, when I was around 75, 180 pounds, we had a football player on our team, and he was a big, strong, athletic guy. 10 times faster than me in a foot race, but not hand speed because he didn't know how to throw a punch. You know, he was 10 times the athlete I was, but I was 10 times the fighter he was. And we were in there sparring one time, and I knew he outweighed me by about a good 45 pounds, but what I did was I just stuck to his chest. You know, I negated his height. I let him throw like these big, ugly, choppy, wide punches that he couldn't hit me with because I was too close to him. And then the second round, when he started gassing and his hands came down, I threw a right hand, which isn't even my go-to punch, and guess what? Down he went. And he just and he didn't get up, not because I hit him so hard. It was because he was just so out of breath. You know?
Yeah, that's such a good point, because Floyd will still have all those little trips. Now they're going to stay with him until he's 80 or 90, or you know. And I just feel, even if he's half of what he was 4 years ago, that should still be too much for an amateur with 3 full fights. If you I air quotes.
Can you do the air quotes on that, please? Yeah. Our listeners can't see it, but we're all air quoting that when you say.
Yeah.
I was on a conference call at work yesterday because we're going over this one big whole rigmarole with this one client who was my client, and I'm sitting there talking to the account manager and the one supervisor, and I made a statement that is going to fit perfectly in with this fight. We're trying to help get other departments involved on working with this client. And I was sitting there going over a lot of the steps, and they said to me, they said, do you have this written down in like a training manual, or is this all in your head? I said, well, yeah, I wrote a training manual, but the training manual is normal scenarios. A lot of things happen that are outside of the normal scenarios, and I've seen them all, and I've dealt with them all. I said, you can't train experience. You can't. You can't sit there and teach somebody experience. You can teach them the basics, but experience is experience.
Yeah.
Right. Is anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Tony. I merged your two names. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Surprised that's the first time that happened. Tony, how many Carpensi brothers are there, speaking of experience? See if Rain Man comes out.
Well, I know 2 of them. I know Tommy Carpensi, and I can't remember the brother's name. The brother.
That's where my mind must have been at. Tommy Carpensi.
Charlo Brothers, maybe? I don't remember who it was.
Yeah. So, my point is being, there's some of them that are good, and there's some of them that are really bad, right? There's that many of them. There's like 3 or 4. And they all box. Right?
Okay.
So, I think Jake Paul is like...
I only knew of the 2 of them.
The better of the Carpensi brothers of YouTube. I think there's at least 3 of them, but I don't know. We'll research that later. But they're a fighting brotherhood.
About a year ago.
And that was
how big like these YouTube celebrities have gotten. Like, until I was joking around about Cameo last year, and I was like, oh, I'm going to put myself on Cameo in my Phillies outfit. And my friend says, oh, you should. People would pay for a greeting from you. I'm like, who the hell would pay for a greeting from me in my Phillies outfit? And he says, no, they would, because probably a lot of people have met you at games and they think it would be cool. I'm like, yeah, right. And then I was looking at people on there, and I'm looking at baseball players, guys that play for the Phillies, guys that played, guys that played for the Eagles, like my friend got a greeting from. A comedian that I got a greeting from. And then I'm looking at other people. YouTuber.
Yeah.
People are paying for a greeting from a guy that does YouTube videos. This person's doing greetings. This person's a TikTok artist. I'm like, are you kidding me? People are going to say, oh my God, I got a greeting from so-and-so who makes TikTok videos. Really? I'm like, that's when I first really realized how this social media and shit. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
Like YouTube and all that. And guys like John Scully got it down right. Like, John has a boxing network and he tells a lot of stories on there. But you know these stories are authentic, and they come from someone who's been in there at the highest level, at the championship caliber level. So when he talks and tells his stories, first of all, he's funny, and second of all, you want to listen because they're authentic and they're interesting. You know, if you get a person that says, like, yeah, you know, I had a fight last week, and me and my buddy went outside and we put these big gloves on, and we were punching each other, and I won. Yeah, that's great, buddy. You know, I did that when I was 13.
Yeah. But it's like stuff like Cameo has just made livings for these people while they're, you know, on the sidelines with COVID situation going on. And case in point, actually, I read an article about Charlie Sheen. He was doing so bad financially. Not only was he living with his father, like the TV show there, kind of crazy, but he also was making most of his, you know, get-by money off of Cameo appearances because he really wasn't working in Hollywood. So it's like, wow, he makes a living off of that.
I mean, and like I said, I don't know. You make a living off it, like, especially, like, I mean, Charlie Sheen, okay, you know, he's a relatively well-known guy. He's been in movies like, you know, Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Major League and 2.5 Men and, you know, Hot Shots and all that. And I don't know what he's charging. He could be charging $50. He could be charging $100. He could be charging $200. I don't know.
Some people charge $1,000.
You know, how many people are going to pay? Yeah, you can charge $1,000, but how many people are going to pay that thing? Oh my God, I got this greeting from Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
You know, the one that I did, you know, for my friend last year for his wedding, they liked Friday the 13th, and they liked the one actor that played in it. He was on there for $40. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's done, you can see on his page that he's done like maybe a couple dozen.
Yeah.
So, hopefully he's trying to make a living off this. You know, he's probably only made maybe $1,000, you know, total. Or, you know, people that maybe do it for like, hey, it's like, you know, some pocket income, it's fun because, you know, they like just maybe brighten someone's day. I don't know. I mean, I can't believe anybody would want a greeting from me. Even my friends are trying to convince me to do it. You know what else my idiot friends are trying to convince me to do? That comedy club that I went to a couple months ago does Tuesday night amateur nights. And they're like, you want to come up there with some of your stories and some of your bullshit stories and make us laugh because you're an idiot.
Well, you have to have like a really professional routine with some real guaranteed jokes for that.
Oh, well, yeah, you look at it this way, Tony. It's a lot like boxing. Because both are, yeah, think about this. I'll make an analogy here. You know, was that stand up in the ring of the cage, stand up on the stage? Why do they call it the punchline? Because you're trying to short circuit someone's nervous system. Now in boxing, you're trying to knock them the F out. And in comedy, you're going after the audience's nervous system to make them helplessly laugh. You've got rhythm, you've got timing, you've got the bright lights. You're all up there alone. It's a solitary act of bravery. Same thing in boxing. I mean, you get in the ring, yeah, you got your corner, but it's all on you. And it's the same thing on that stage, because I know from when I was doing it, it looks easy. Well, you get nailed announcer because just like in a fight. Then you step up, and then there it is. Ding, showtime, bud. You don't get no readings. So, throwing up like that. Think about that. You know, get up there and give it a shot. What do you got to lose?
You know what was funny? You know, I was over at my friend's house the other night, and I was teaching his son, the 4-year-old, the art of the sleeper hold, and he was not selling it right, and I was very upset with him. But we were over there, and we're just, you know, just talking different things about growing up, and we were just saying whatever. And I was like, yeah. And I told him, I said, I started actually writing, you know, some ideas. I said, if I do this, it'll only be like you can only do like an amateur for like 5-10 minute little, you know, auditions almost. But I said, you know, I can talk about how I messed with the scam warranty callers, and I could do the whole My Cousin Vinny thing. And then my friend, you know, and I said, I'd hope he'd be in the audience for this, because I'm going to throw him under the bus about the time that he would always take my stories. Like when he told his girlfriend, who's now his wife, how he auditioned for the Rocky movie, and he got a chance to read for a part, and he got to be on set, but he got cut out. And she's telling me this, I'm like looking at him, and his eyes are like bug-eyed. And I said, did he have his appendix out 3 days prior? No, why? I said, because he's telling you my story. And then she's like, you told me his story? And I'm like, yeah, to the T. actually. You know, to the actual, like, literally the whole thing. And then a couple months ago, I was over there, and I was like, hey, did you ever hear about the other time I went to an audition? He goes, no. I said, yeah, I went down, I rode the train down with 3 professional actors from New York. We went down, the casting director goes, oh, look, it's the appendix guys here again. These 3 professional actors got turned away. I got brought in for a reading and a fitting. I didn't get called back, but so the one guy's girlfriend shows up, and he was, like, all pissed off because he, like, writes screenplays, and he's supposed to be, like, an up-and-coming in the business. And she's like, how'd you do it? He goes, we all got turned away. And the one friend goes, he didn't. They're like, oh, the amateur didn't. No.
Nice.
The girl that confused me with Ralph Macchio at a concert, so I entertained her by posing doing the crane kick. She was so drunk, she probably told her friends she met Ralph Macchio. I don't think I look like Ralph Macchio, by the way.
Yeah, I don't have any real famous
Oh,
lookalikes.
this is dumb shit that I can write up and just see if I can get it to flow.
Yeah. You got that guy from the Phillies that you look just like. We know that.
Oh my God, remember him? Dude, that was crazy. Tom, did I ever send you that? I don't know.
No, I haven't heard this one.
Okay.
We were at a Phillies Cubs game like 10 years ago, and we were out in Chicago. I'm there with my younger cousin, and she was maybe 17 at the time. And we're sitting there, she takes a picture of some of the players warming up in the outfield, and one of the coaches, who I come to find out later was their batting practice coach. I can lob pitches to, superstars and make a lot of money. They don't need this guy to do it. My cousin takes his photo, and we're looking at it. She goes, that guy looks like you. I said, get the hell out of here. So she puts it on the computer, and I was like, look at this guy. And my dad's like, oh my God, and that's you. I said, Dad, that's not me. Sure it is. No, it's not. I know what I look like, and I know where I was. That's not me. So my mom comes over, and I was like, Mom, look at this picture. She goes, that's you. I said, Mom, no, it's not. She goes, yes, it is. Like, angry. I said, Mom, no, it's not. She's like, and then now she's gonna like hit me with a wooden spoon because I'm lying to her that that's not me in the photo. My dad's like, you superimposed it. I said, Dad, no, I didn't. I swear I didn't. So they're like, and I'm like, wait a minute, guys. When was I on the field with the players? I said, you were standing next to me the whole game. Yeah, you're never on the field. Just told you that. And they're like, wasn't I wearing a red jersey? This is before the outfit. I said, wasn't I wearing a red jersey? Like, yeah. I said, that guy's wearing a blue jersey. It's not. So we come to find out this guy was their batting practice pitcher. A few months later, Phillies are going to the playoffs. They clinch on the road in Washington on a Monday. This guy walks into the locker room, and all the guys that he's helped to hone their hitting skills start dumping beer on his head. My phone blows up. Oh my God, you're in the locker room. I said, yeah. I got out of work early enough to go to Washington, D.C., and the Phillies said, oh my God, Tony came all the way down on a Monday night. Let's invite him in and put beer on his head. Then I'm like, you know what, shit. I started getting plans.
You could have crashed the field. You just said, get yourself a uniform.
And I said, he can work at Western Pet Services and deal with people bitching about their bed bugs. And I can lob, softballs to Chase Utley and Ryan Howard. I said, that's a fair deal. Once they fired him, a year later, the team has tanked for a decade.
Wow. What's that guy's name?
His name was Ali, like Muhammad Ali, on the 5-year anniversary of Ali's death, by the way. And his last name was Modami or something like that. I'm going to send you the picture.
Yeah. I got to see this.
That would have been hilarious if you had a full uniform duplicated and just like hopped onto the field one day in it and just like faced across from him.
Yeah. Dude, oh my God, that would have been great.
Like,
if I would have taken places with him, and I was heavier at the time, they still would have said, man, Allie, you lost some weight. I'm like, thank you. Because I was heavier, but he was just...
Anyway, there's half your comedy routine.
You look good. You lost some weight. Hey, thank you.
All right, so we got to talk some boxing here.
This is why I'm not allowed out in public on supervised.
We got some fights to talk about. I didn't see the DAZN card, but Shane Mosley Jr. got
I did not see DAZN. I
got beaten up on that one. Lost to Jason Quigley, who had only one loss going in, and it seems like every time Shane faces an undefeated or 1 or 2 loss fighter, this is what happens. But started late, so they just moving him up too quick or something. I don't know. He needs to develop a little more. Looks like.
And sometimes you have high expectations because of your last name.
Oh,
and it doesn't always work that way.
And Devin Haney got a big win over Jorge Linares, but a lot of criticism from the people who now want to target him. They're all thinking they can beat him easily based on his performance, so it wasn't a stunner.
That fight was such an example. It ain't over till it's over. Because I tuned in probably about the 6th or 7th round, and you could tell Haney was a step ahead. I mean, it wasn't a slaughter, but Haney had done enough to, on the unofficial scorecard, win every round. Linares is not known for having a devastating knockout punch, so after the 8th round, I said, I'm going to bed. I missed it. He got caught in the 10th, I think, and then he was just holding on. I mean, it was a close, not a close decision, but it wasn't a complete runaway. But he was really locked, and he didn't completely recover from what I heard.
Yeah,
and I think that's where all the his future possible opponents are licking their chops now.
Yeah.
And the big
but,
weekend.
I should know better. It ain't over till it's over. That's talking.
That's right.
Yes, sir. The big one over the weekend was Nonito Donaire just defying Father Time. He made a lot about his age, just like they did Hank a week earlier.
Defying it impressively, I might add.
Yes, getting the title and just looking dynamic. I mean,
the only blip on that,
sharpness of
the only blip on
power.
that was going to be the potential punch after the bell that scored.
Yes.
The knockdown. I think it was in the 3rd round.
It was definitely after the bell.
I'm watching it with my dad, and if you've watched Donaire's career, he makes a living off that back foot left hook. It's completely, it's you take a boxing textbook and you won't find it on any page.
Yeah.
It's almost like he leans on his back foot and throws the left hook. It's like it's not how you're
so fast,
but he does it perfectly.
But yet so powerful.
That's how he knocked that Victor Archinian all them years ago.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of one of his type of punches.
You can see, the first time he landed it, he hurt. He hurt the guy. And then he landed it again, and the guy goes down. Now, the bell, they're in an exchange. You hear the bell, and then he landed again, like, bam, like a second after the bell. And the boy went down hard. And my dad's like, Dad, I think that was after the bell. My dad's like, I don't think it was. And then you see the referee count, and I'm like, maybe it wasn't. Then they went back and showed the replay, and I'm like, and then even my dad agreed with me, like, oh, that definitely was.
Yeah. But it's in the books. It's done is done. It's just an obvious outcome based on the first few rounds. He was running away with it. Once he touched him with his power, it was like the will came out of the face of Ubali there. He was just had nothing to answer for that, and so it was light work for Donaire. It looked like he's reinvigorated, and he definitely is out for domination at this point. He'll take anybody. I mean, based on that performance, I think he can hang with anybody. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does now. But I'm still pissed he never gave me that interview. I'm going to have to go to an event and track him down. I'm going to go truck down to Mohegan Sun when he's fighting there and be like, hey, dude, what the fuck? Stiffed me. Anyway. We got some interesting boxing this weekend. It's one of those things where BoxRec says there's no fights on Saturday worth mentioning. But I found some. I don't know what's going on in this city in France. But there's 72 fights on one card. It's ridiculous. On Friday night in France, there are unbelievable amount of fights on this card. It's like literally like over 25 fights in a row. I don't know if it starts in the morning, it's a 3-day event, or what's going on. There's a lot of fun. And there's like people with hundreds and hundreds of wins, and instead of like losses, like our normal opponents that we make fun of. This one girl has like 250 wins.
Wow.
I'm waiting for it to load up. Mira Potkonen. Okay. See if that loads up quicker. Oh, it's an amateur thing, that's why. It says she's an amateur.
Yeah, because I'm even looking at Friday night, and there's something in France on a Friday night that has like, and it says a bunch of 3x3, so.
Must be a qualifier. On there. Must be some kind of thing for the Olympics, preparation for the Olympics. Because that's why there's so many fights, I would say. But yeah.
Guess who is making her pro debut in Mexico tomorrow?
Who is that?
You're going to be excited. The pro debut of Rosie Balboa.
Nice. So we gotta shut that down. Alright. Yeah, I didn't realize that when I clicked on it earlier. I was looking at her fights, and it says right on the address, the site address for her profile, amateur box. But anyway, yeah, Esson, France. We've got a whole lot of fights. And her record, Potkonen, is 231 wins, 35 losses, and 1 draw. And she's fighting a girl who's 30-1.
Whoa.
But she has lost to a girl who's 5-8. On page 1 of her 3 pages of fights on box rec. We got another guy, Mohammed Abdel Rasoon, on this card. His record is 112, 35-0. Fighting Georgi Karabadze, who's 27-23. I know we got a mismatch of the week on here. Here it is. Welterweights. Andrei Zamkovoy. He is 125-20. Fighting Dionysios Pefanis, who is 2-4. Ouch. Usually that's the other way around. It's 125 losses. And he's the mismatch of the week. Yeah, I don't know why that showed up on the schedule. Maybe it's because Saturday wasn't available. Usually I click on the date. This time I just clicked on schedule. I didn't even know that they had kept track of all that stuff. Amateurs too. But the big one tomorrow night in Mexico, one of the big ones, we got 2 of them. David Lemieux and David Zagara. Lemieux is 42-4. Zagara is 34-4. This one's in Mexico. And co-main event, Eric Bazinian, 25-0 against Scott Sigmund, who's 35-14-1, and that's for the NABA super middleweight title and vacant NABF super middleweight title. And then we got in St. Petersburg, Russia, we have Fedor Chudanov, 23-2-1, fighting Rhino Liebenberg, who is 21-7-1 for the WBA Gold World Super Middleweight title. Gold. That's a new one. I thought that was just so. I didn't know there was a gold.
Hey, can I ask a stupid question?
What?
I'm looking at Saturday's schedule, and there's 2 fight cards in Philadelphia at the same place.
Well, they do that up in New Hampshire here.
In the evening, but I don't know how that's going to work.
They do that up in New Hampshire here. They have a day card and a night card. Because they've been busting at the seams.
In Philadelphia, and I don't think I know any of these guys.
Here's a United Kingdom card, and here's some opponents to talk about. We got Bradley Skeet, 28-3, fighting Dale Arrowsmith, who is 241-1. That's quite the mismatch. We might have to change our mismatch of the week on that one. Then we got the 21-2-2 John Fuchs, Fewkes. It's a weird one. Fighting Jordan Granham, who's 5-73 with 2 draws. That's not the worst record on the card, though. We've got 3-0 Aaron Hayden at super featherweight fighting Jamie Quinn, who's 107-2. Yikes. Let's see what else we got. We got a USNBC cruiserweight title on the line in Ohio, Newark. Alante Green in the main event, 7-0-1 against Stevens Bujaj, who is 17-3-1. And co-main event, super welterweight Willie Nelson, 27-3-1 versus TBA. There's still time, Tom. Sign up. You can fight Willie Nelson.
Okay.
Let's see. I know there's a Jesus fight. I just saw it. Jesus Bravo. I'm not even shitting you. That's his real name. Fighting in St. Petersburg, Russia. Jesus Bravo. He is 19-3-1, fighting Karatin Gerber. It's a tough one. Who is 5-0. 5-0. Alright, let's see what else we got. There's a fight in Washington, Pennsylvania for the IBA Intercontinental Super Featherweight title. We got Journeyman versus up-and-comer here. Matt Conway, 18-2. Those two have been in his last 6. And then he's fighting Jonathan Perez, who is 38-26. For the International Boxing Association Intercontinental Super Featherweight title. Say that 10 times fast. Alright. Trying to find one. Maybe it's a Saturday fight. Here he is. Okay. Now we got a main event here in Germany at the Black Wolves House. How about that for a venue name? In Wiesbaden, Germany. We got Fatih Altun Kaya at heavyweight, 24-0, fighting Hussein Akdemir, who's 8-0. So that's how somebody's always got to go fight. That's Saturday. Foxrec was wrong. There was a good fight on Saturday. But there's a fight way down on the card that I know Tony's going to like. We have heavyweights Vincenzo Drago, who is 3-0, fighting Arvid Daub, who is 0-2.
Nice.
So he's the Italian version of Ivan Drago, Vincenzo. Vinny Drago.
Second Italian brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Italian brother. There's another one in Germany on Saturday. Agit Kabayel. He's 20-0, fighting Kevin Johnson, who's 35-17 with 1 draw. Lost 5 of his last 6. That one's for the WBA Continental Heavyweight title. And he's got another. Somebody's always got to go at cruiserweight. 12-0 Roman Fress and 11-0 Kamel Kawach for the vacant WBO Intercontinental Cruiserweight title. And we've got fights in Budapest on Saturday worth mentioning here. Laszlo Toth, 29-5-2, fighting Peter Kramer, who's 11-3-1 for the vacant Hungary Super Welterweight title. Is he hungry for the Hungary title? That's the question. Middleweights. Robert Rax, 23-2, fighting Dmitro Semernin, who is 14-8-1. Alright, what do we got in Philly? for Saturday. We gotta roll up. I guess there's the next Rocky movie right there, Vincenzo Drago.
I love it. Right there.
Another Italian. They'd have to do like something weird. Russian and Italian mix.
It'll be like before she passed away, Drago had an affair with Rocky's wife. Hey, they had Apollo having, an extramarital affair, before Drago killed him.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. All right, let's see what else we got going on Saturday. We got the WBC Feaker Box middleweight title on the line in Baja, California, Mexico. Alexander Castro 8-0 and Juan Carlos Regosa 17, 16, and 3. A whole lot of TBAs on the rest of the card. Let's see your Philadelphia card. You seen that on BoxRec? I love this guy's name.
I saw it at the very
Joe Pigford in action this weekend
on Saturday.
in Luxembourg, and Joe Pigford is 16-0, fighting Jovica Jovanovic, who is 1-26. We got to change our mismatch. Everybody in the right-hand column has either one or no wins. The guys in the left column aren't that better, much better either. Alright. What the hell did I find this? I don't know why my computer's being so slow tonight. Well, maybe it's because of rain. Let's go, PC. While we're waiting for that, might as well do a MMA story. Fabricio Verdum has pulled out of his next fight in the PFL schedule. There was already a little bit of controversy when they wouldn't grant his opponent an immediate rematch. He was supposedly TKO'd, but then there was controversy after the fight because it looked like the guy tapped. I don't know what they ended up doing, whether they called it a no contest or what, but he is saying he's still dealing with the effects of that fight. So I don't know whether that means mentally or physically or both. He has withdrawn from his fight with Brandon Sales. And they don't know if he's even going to finish out the season. So points based. So if you miss a fight like that, I mean, it's pretty tough to win $1 million. So I don't know how they would handle that when and if he is able to continue. And Dana White is supposedly going to be announcing soon some type of new health benefits for UFC fighters. Let's hope that's not like the Zuffa boxing promises that he made. That's in the news. And that guy that we used to want an interview with, but now probably not a good idea. Travis Fulton, the guy with like the most MMA fights on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
He got arrested for the child porn there. Now he's asking the judge
God, yeah.
to throw out the evidence. Yeah, he was like a 12-year-old girl or something like that. And he had some video of it and stuff on his cell phone and his computers, I guess. And so he's trying to get it all thrown out, and the judge refused to do it. So it's looking like he's going to stay in the other cage for quite some time. I don't know how he's doing fighting in there, but it's definitely not on TV unless it's closed circuit. All right.
You know what that reminds me of? Remember the movie with Jim Carrey, A Liar Liar?
Yeah.
It's like where he couldn't tell a lie. He was a lawyer.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me, it's like when he was trying to get evidence thrown out, and then the judge is like, can you have a good reason why? And he can't lie. And he goes, yeah, because it's damaging to my case. So like, yeah, that's got a sufficient reason. That's what that reminds me of. I want this evidence thrown out. Why? Because that'll convict me.
Yeah, right. All right. There's a guy in the United Kingdom fighting on Saturday. Calvin McCord, 8-0, fighting Lee Connolly, who is 7-55-5. 5 draws he managed, so pretty crazy. Another guy in that card's 0-11. 0-23 this Saturday, too. Alright, Jonesboro, Georgia. There's one for some titles. Rafael Reyes, 18-11, lost all 6 of his last 6, fighting Noel Echeverria, who is 17-7. This one's for the vacant Universal Boxing Organization International lightweight title, and also the American Boxing Federation USA lightweight title. And then we got, it's not that great a fight, but lightweights in the co-main event, Headley Scott, 15-1, fighting Jonathan Hernan Godoy, who's 5-8. Mississippi Valley, where is freaking Philadelphia? There it is. 2300 Arena. Yeah, 2 different fight cards.
Yep.
Brandon Robinson, 15-2, fighting Cenk Palana, who's 8-3 at super middleweight. Then we got the mismatch on the card. Jonathan Rodriguez, 8-1, fighting Sebastian Baltazar, who's 1-4. God help him. That's the best guys on that card. Then we got the Outlaw, Greg Outlaw, at super lightweight. He's 8-0, fighting Andrew Rogers, who's 4-9-2. And then the main event is super middleweights David DeVar Farhadi, 8-0 as well, fighting Blake Mansfield, who is 7-3-1. And that takes us to Sunday. So yeah, there's really not. Well, here's a guy worth watching. Joseph Jackson, super welterweight, 16-0, undefeated, fighting Terrence Williams, who's 5-4-1. A couple guys making their debut. Takes us to Sunday. Alrighty. So, there's also another slow week in MMA. There's only one event this weekend, and it's another UFC event. There's kind of a packed week next weekend, but crazy action going on this weekend, except for UFC Fight Night 189, Rosenstruck versus Sakai. And it's always tough to tell which Rosenstruck's going to show up. This time it was the knockout artist. Time before that it was the guy who freaking got knocked out the last second. So see who shows up. Again, it's taking to load. So we'll wait for that. Anyway, what can we talk about while we wait? Let's see.
I was thinking like a few topics tonight when I was working out. Now, of course, my horrible short-term memories, I'm trying to remember them. I was talking to my dad today. We're obviously, no real college boxing shows this year. I didn't get to go up to the Lock Haven show, which is, a staple in February. So, since I didn't get to do that, what I'm planning to do was, you assume everything's going to be really back, rocking and rolling, full steam ahead by the fall. I know they've been trying to do a fall show, which is obviously not as big as the show in February, but I might try to make it up to that depending on what weekend it is. But then also, I might try to just take a day off of work. I still got 30 more days that I got to burn by the end of this year, and go up and serve as a guest coach. That'd be good. I want to maybe plan a day and visit Dr. Cox at the Assisted Living Center, and just spend a whole day with the team. And meet some of the guys, because when I was at Lock Haven 20-some years ago, Dr. Cox was always big on history, and so a lot of times when he would talk to us, he would have just little meetings with us before training would even start. And some days you didn't understand why. You just wanted to get back to your work. Like, you might have already been jumping rope or hitting the bag before you came in, and then he's stopping to talk to you. It feels like you're cooling me down. I was nice and warmed up. But now I think about it, it's like you got really invaluable education, not just about boxing, but about history, life, all that. And he would always talk to us about guys that were on his team, and he would tell us hey, we had this guy back in '85. Here's some of his traits, some things that you could learn from. And then when you get to meet these guys years later, it's like you were meeting like celebrities. And then I know talking to one of the student boxers that was there my last semester when I was coaching, so I didn't know him very well, just a little bit of work. But he goes, even after you were gone, you were still with us because Dr. Cox always talked about you. And now, with him not being really with the team much, if at all, and, some of the guys that are helping coach the team now, Coach Cooper is not there every day. These are guys that don't know me. They might hear my name, but I want to put a face to that name, and I want to say, listen, here's how I can help you. Here's what I can teach you from my experience. You can't teach experience, but you can put them on the right path.
Yeah.
So I'd like to do that, in the fall, and burn up some of my vacation days. Burning up one tomorrow.
Yeah, I still got to reach out to my Norwich president there. I got a nice little thing in the mail today. Usually when I get stuff from Norwich, it says, here's an envelope to give us money. But today, it was a little fridge magnet and trying to get me to connect with some other alumni on their new little network they have. But I mentioned on the last show, the week before, they're going to start up MMA program. They want to do combative MMA competitively with other teams and schools and stuff like that, which would be a great place to start it as a military school. Those guys are already training for that, and special forces and stuff, and Army, Navy, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's a great idea, but I'd love to be involved in it. And they just fired the guys that we wanted to get rid of, who never responded to my message when I asked him about it. So, yeah, I'd like to do something like that myself and go up there and teach a class every now and then. And, work with the kids. As the last guy to have a boxing program at that school, I think they'd jump at that chance to have me up there. But anyway, we have some UFC to talk about here. Jairzinho Rozenstruik, 11-2, fighting Augusto Sakai, who's 15-2, with one draw. And then we got Marcin Tybura going all the way up to the co-main event. I think he was on the preliminary card the last time. He's 21-6, fighting Walt Harris, who's 13-9. And we got Roman Dolidze, 8-1, fighting Laureano Staropoli, 9-3. Santiago Ponzinibbio, 27-4, fighting Miguel Beza, undefeated at 10-0. Dusko Todorovic, 10-1, fighting Gregory Rodriguez, who's 9-3. We got Tom Breeze, 12-3, fighting Antonio Arroyo, 9-4. Makwan Amirkhani, 16-5, fighting Kamawala Kirk, who's 11-4. And we got a female fight, Montana De La Rosa, 11-6, with one draw, fighting Ariane Lipsky, who's 13-6. Ilir Latifi, 14-8, fighting Tanner Boser, who's 19-7-1. Way down on the card here, Francisco Trinaldo, big record, 26-7, fighting Muslim Salikov, who's 17-2. And great records on these undercard fights. Mason Jones, 10-1, fighting Alan Patrick, 15-3. Manon Fiorok, 6-1, fighting Tabitha Ricci, who is 5-0. Second fight of the night, Yusuf Zalal, 10-4, fighting Sean Woodson, who's 7-1. First fight of the night, Claudio Puelas, 9-2, fighting Jordan Levitt, who's 8-0. They got 14 fights. Until some get canceled. We don't know. Sometimes that happens. Usually it's after I've picked my FanDuel team, which pisses me off. Anyway, Jairzinho Rosenstruck, Augusto Sakai. What do you think, Tom? What's your crystal ball say?
You know, like you said, it's just Rosencrantz. It's just so streaky. Yeah, and I'm going with Sakai with that.
All right. What do you think about Tibero Harris? Got any thoughts on that one?
I haven't really delved into that. Harris has had. He just seems to come up short.
Right.
I don't know enough about the opponent, so I'm kind of just drawing a blank on that one.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to say Tibero. Just he's a little bit more crafty. He's got a little bit more experience. And he's got a little less losses. So on paper, he's doing a little better. So I'm going to go with him. I like Sakai too. I haven't really looked into it too much. But Rosenstruck, you know, being a big heavyweight, he's always dangerous with one punch. So you can never count him out. Anyway, I guess until next week, that's about all we have. I am in conversations with the guy we trashed last week, Boo Boo Andre there, Demetrius. He was trying to get me to promote something on Twitter.
I think we spoke back.
We talked about Canelo trashing him. Is what happened. Because when he came to the press conference and
you hear what happened between Canelo and Hospital?
Oh yeah, where he put out a headline or something about him getting caught using kitchen utensils to pleasure himself.
Well, then it was something like De La Hoya said something about Canelo ducking Charlo. I don't remember which Charlo. And Canelo came back, called him a traitor, told him to mind his own business.
Yeah.
You know, I think maybe even called him a cokehead.
Yeah. And then told him to go fuck himself.
You know, he was fired up.
Yeah. And he put kitchen utensils next to it, and then somebody put out the headline. There was a headline that some Instagram models photographed him putting forks and knives up his butt, I guess.
Oh. You know what? And I did not make that connection. When I saw the kitchen, I thought the one I noticed was the knife. I thought he meant like stabbing in the back.
No.
I guess that's me just being cut.
There was an inside joke on that one.
This weekend.
Unreal. There's no low they won't go to. Anyway, yeah, he's learning English like we learn foreign languages. The swear words first. Canelo.
Exactly. The first one first. Exactly.
All right, guys.
I will send you guys some photos again. I'm doing the Grand Marshal of that 5K in honor of Hank Cisco.
Awesome.
I'm nervous because, like I said, you guys have only maybe seen clips of Hank, but from knowing him in person, I have at maybe best 1/10 of his personality in Chris, at best. So I'm going to really have to be leaning on my Phillies outfit, and because it's breast cancer, my pink boxing gloves to help me keep the crowd entertained, and then greeting them as they're finishing and doing some photos. I'm praying we don't have to wear masks. I will bring my mask with my picture on it, and then hopefully I will be able to yank that thing the hell off. But, I'll be prepared.
All right. Well, yeah.
Just go out and be yourself, buddy. Go out and be yourself.
I will send you guys some. You know what they told us about Riddick Bowe when this was, once again, crazy because it's the 5th year anniversary of Muhammad Ali's death today. Eddie Funch would always tell Riddick Bowe, don't be the next Muhammad Ali, be the first Riddick Bowe. Everybody wants to be the next Ali, be the first yourself. So I know when I go out there Sunday or Saturday, a lot of people are still remembering Hank Cisco. They love Hank Cisco. I love Hank Cisco. And people, you're not being the next Hank Cisco. You got to be the first Tornado.
There you go.
Well, gentlemen, have a good weekend. I'm going to kind of get some sleep.
All right, guys.
We're goofing off.
All right. Adios.
Enjoy the fights.
Later.